Browser-based tool, nothing to install on the workstation or anything like that. Um, you'll go ahead and log in. Now, this is, as I mentioned, this is typically handled within a marketing segment, as opposed to like a contact center or something that was truly customer facing. But I mean, your client can kind of decide for themselves who should have access to this. Okay. What I'd like to
Okay.
do first is just, and I won't go spend a ton of time in each, but I want to walk you through the onboarding process, show you how easy it is, and again, he'll see that when he watches the recording. So you get this welcome to Nextiva. Now, this is a demo, right? This is not we don't have Nextiva's corporate entity fed through this for obvious reasons, in terms of a demo. So this is through the lens of some fast food chains. Okay.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you an idea. All right. So when you first log in, you're going to start your onboarding. You're going to customize your workspace. What is a workspace? It's a workspace that will allow to organize content and channels by team, function, and role. Essentially, you can use more than one workspace for all You can use one workspace for all communications, or you can divvy them up to segment conversations more effectively. I'm not sure, enough about his business to delineate what's going to be the best, but you can create unlimited workspaces here. Okay. Some common use cases: businesses with multiple teams, multiple locations, multiple social media profiles, or digital presences. Okay. Make sense so far?
Yes, does.
Once the initial person is in, the admin, then they will, based on how many licenses they acquired, they'll be able to invite their team members. Okay, so the associated people that should be involved in this as well. So that's pretty easy to do. Then we get into social. So initially, you're presented the option to connect these common social media platforms. Okay. So you'll just kind of walk through a step-by-step wizard for each one, just providing your authenticated credentials. Keep in mind, it has to be the actual corporate entity, right? I can't just put in my personal one or somebody from the team's personal one. This has to be the actual one tied to the business's EIN. Okay.
Hey, Derek, can you monitor Yelp and Reddit and things like that?
Yep. So that was actually right next on the list. So we wanted
Okay.
like to, once we get through social media, I'm going to get into the online reviews.
Great.
But within the social channels, because everything is publicly accessible anyway, and you can look at anybody's social media pretty much as public entities, this is where you can add in your competitors. Okay. So if I wanted to add in, this is McDonald's, maybe I want to add in In-N-Out Burger. I think it's in here. Yep. So I can add in In-N-Out Burger. I can add in, Wendy's. Really, whatever competitor makes sense for you guys to
Okay.
understand. All right. And there's also a little clip here that kind of more, I guess, in more detail explains the added benefit of monitoring the competitors. Right. Why should we, identify social threats to your business, but also to their business? Right. Find gaps in social media marketing strategy and benchmark your social results against the competition. Okay. Any questions on that piece?
Not yet. Okay.
Okay. Online reviews. So this is where we can get into app store reviews, location, e-commerce, others, app store competitors. And so I've got examples in the dashboard here you'll be able to look at. So that's where you'll make those connections as well. All right. So got a couple of examples here. We got location type reviews. We've got app store reviews, some other atypical ones. You can also build a messaging app out of this as well. So it has native, live chat. So if this is going to be manned essentially by whether you label them a marketing person or an agent, they will be able to sit on this end of it and feel, live interactions. Right,
Derek, did we see Yelp? Did I miss that?
Yelp is in here. It wasn't on this initial list, but we do support Yelp.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So any questions about the onboarding before I switch over to dashboard? Okay. So once you've kind of gone through the onboarding, then you can tab over to your dashboard. This will be here at all times, even when the onboarding is complete. As you can see, I'm only 50% through it. Once you're 100%, this kind of goes away, and then you're just left with a dashboard that when you log in every day, this is what you'll see. So obviously, this isn't an active environment, but you're capturing social messages, emails, messaging, reviews, okay, based on the time frame that you want, 7 days, 15 or 30. Okay. And then you've got these tiles here that show graphically how that breaks down: videos, news, discussions, blogs, Instagram business, so on and so forth. Okay. And this is broken down by day. Okay. Now, this over here gives you the ability to customize your dashboard. So when you come over here, you can just click on this. And here are some other trends that are available to you that you can add to. You just simply hit select on the appropriate ones. What are the most important things to your business? You can pick up to 6 out of this list. So this is something that we can go through with the client during the onboarding, and help them kind of understand, maybe, unless they have a good idea of what they need today. But obviously it's easy to change as well. Okay. We can set up case routing, so we can do cases for reviews. We can do create cases for all communication. We can then implement what we call sticky agent, so that if somebody comes back that initially came in, we can route that to the previous agent, assuming they're available. So it's similar to a contact center environment like that. Just a matter of how you want that behavior to be provisioned. All right. So any questions on the onboarding or dashboard before we get into the next pieces here?
None here.
Nope.
So let's start with Unibox. Okay, Unibox is kind of your unified mailbox, if you will. So that's what it's short for. It's going to capture anything that my user profile is assigned to. Okay, and it's going to dump everything along the left-hand side here. You can see which social media channel it is, and then select, whichever event or news feed item, and you can pull that up and you can see the contents of it. Okay. And then up here, you can look at all the cases in the workspaces you have access to. You can view all the data that's been collected in the profiles I have access to, and then I can view all my saved filters as well. So you've got a number of ways of filtering here, to pull out certain workspaces, define action dates, sort by ascending or descending, pick which sources it's coming from. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to apply these advanced filters. You can do it by tags, work baskets and users, escalations, SLAs, really any of these. So each user will have the ability to kind of tailor their own Unibox the way that they want.
Okay.
And any of the data can be downloaded locally as well. Right? So let's move on to dashboards now. So there's a lot of different options here. I'm going to go through a couple that I already have pinned, but you have kind of listen dashboards that are looking for summaries, campaigns, comparisons, influencers, tags, tag comparisons, and then more from the care side. You want to measure brand performance, case performance. You want live data, customer service, surveys. I'm going to do a segment on surveys here in a minute. There's a lot of different things you can pin to your dashboard. So you pick from any of these and you just select pin, and it will add it to your top here under your pinned dashboards to make it quicker and easier to access. Okay. Any questions there?
None.
Let's open up one.
Hey, Derek, can you open
Yes.
up one of those on like brand performance so I can see what
Yes.
you've got there?
Certainly. So let's.
I assume
So
they
let's
can customize any of those if
They
they
can.
like the overall template, they like 90% of it, but they want to move something in and out. That's possible.
Yeah, and we're API friendly with this too. So if we need to do any customization or custom build, we can at least talk about it and see if it's feasible or not. So you've got kind of a summary up here. You've got the source distribution. Okay, here's all the channels that I've got connected and where they're coming from. You have buzz, what we call buzz. We have a sentiment breakdown. And then we have this, which is pretty popular, other word clouds. So this is giving you positive and negative word clouds based on the stuff, the contents of what's coming through on your social channels, and then an overall word cloud. You can apply, I don't have the mapping turned on, but you can apply this by country distribution. You can also establish, age, gender distribution, and overall trend. So there's a lot of different things that this captures. Just a matter of kind of tailoring this to what you guys need.
Hey, Derek, on the far right, under the source distribution, I see telephony. Can you explain that one a little bit?
Yeah, so we would have the ability to put a SIP line into this and allow for voice as a technical media, even though this is not really a call center solution.
Right.
And that would be for voice interactions, messages, things that of that nature.
Okay.
That would require a custom build, and you probably your client probably already has a call center or phone system type application. That's not really designed for what this is. This is really everything but phone.
Understood.
But we in a situation where it was a must have, we have some limited capabilities there.
Okay.
All right. But great question. All right, so let's go down to the publish. So this is going to be a big component, I would assume, of this role's responsibilities. Depending on which social channels you're on, you're going to, compose and schedule posts. You can do them immediately, or you can do them, ahead, forward. So essentially, what you're going to do is you'll pick, I'll just do them all here. And I'll just do a couple of spaces. I'll do one space here. So basically, I want to post to these social channels with this company on this date. So I hit compose, and it looks very similar to any post that you would make on a mobile device, right? Type in what you want, and maybe upload a picture. And then it's going to give you kind of a preview. You can use it with or without the crop. Okay, so just kind of that's basically it. And then you're going to either you can choose tags, of course. They can be product, topical, or campaign tags. And then you can add notes to it as well. That'll be saved with the record of this post, but not actually posted, if that makes sense. I have the option to post immediately. I can schedule it at a certain time. Okay, or I can save it as a draft. Make sense?
Derek, any AI capabilities here? Can I, shorthand or tell it what I want it to do, and it can
Not today.
create me a post? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're focusing on AI within the full-blown contact center space right now. But because it's all the same CPaaS solution, anything that we add to our contact center arena will essentially by default be added to this too. Right now, we do have the ability to build a chat bot, but nothing in the way of automation.
Okay.
All right. All right, so that's the publish. I don't have any campaigns set up, but you can set up campaigns, just segmented buckets of data that you want to capture. You could also do, as I mentioned in the beginning, separate workspaces. So you can either do it in different campaigns within one workspace, or you could do separate workspaces with individual campaigns. Okay. Survey is pretty cool. Most customers want to, after any interaction, whether it be through a chat bot or through a live connected agent, we'd like to send a survey at the end, how we did, that type of thing. So you can kind of go through this this survey wizard, and essentially create your own surveys. It can be CSAT related, NPS related, custom or custom UI. So you just kind of go in here and establish the parameters and schedule it. And you can even do repeating. All right. So just pretty easy to supply surveys. Audience is just your contact list, so you can import and kind of use this as a contact database if you'd like. We could also do an initial kind of API pull from a database if you wanted to populate this with all of your clients. So that's there. Some generic reporting, basically historical versions of the dashboards. So whether it's social activity itself, or ticketing, or cases that are created, replies to messages, that type of thing. You've got a pretty decent selection of reports. Okay, so if I like open up a ticketing, let's see here.
Eric, in the dashboard screen, you showed the collection of, let's call them, messages that we picked up, right? Somebody said something kind of, somebody said something on Twitter.
Yep.
Do you pick up the sentiment of that and categorize it particularly, or do we know that
so
just somebody made a message on that?
You see it's just the little face over here. See, positive, and then there's a neutral, and then there's some.
I could filter on that.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so let's say my job is to monitor what's going on in social, and I come in the morning, and during the wee hours last night, I got something on X and I got something on Yelp where somebody said, "Hey, I don't like you, Mr. Company, because your agent hung up on me, and or the letter you said you sent me never showed up." What does the user have to do then to respond to that message?
Well, that's going to be kind of up to the administrator. So first of all, any message that's missed can auto create a task, or a case, or a ticket, and that ticket then in typical fashion, would be auto assigned to the first person to log in the next day.
Okay.
Right.
So sorry, Derek. I just want to make sure I get this out and I understand it before you move on. So technically, I mean, you have this dashboard, you have all this cool stuff, but technically they could set up rules that on these platforms, anything that comes through with a negative sentiment, I'm going to create a ticket from. And Tim and Vic and Chris work in that environment, and they could obviously log into this, but they're going to have tickets in their queue to whatever system it's opening a ticket in, and they're actually able to respond that way as well. So you are not having to depend on a human being to go through and filter and sort and make sure that they actually see everything that had a negative sentiment.
Correct.
Okay. And when Tim says respond, clearly I could see where a ticket would open, and I could see that I got something to do. Do I respond from within this platform, or do I have to go? Okay, cool. If I could see that, that'd be awesome.
Yep. So, you literally can respond right within the social media platform, is what I'm saying.
Your platform, or do I have to go to X, go to Yelp?
You don't have to go to X. What I'm saying is you can reply right here.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Yep. That's the whole
How do you
point.
do that?
Well, I'm not gonna like reply to Burger King. What the point is, like, I come into Burger King, and down here I can just hit comments and add my comments.
Perfect. And then that will, I don't know what that's on, let's just say X. That will automatically go from Nextiva's social media platform and automatically post into X as this is what Burger King has Burger King's login.
This is no different than if you were doing it from your mobile device on the actual app. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for short terms, you've got a centralized command center for collecting and responding to social media.
Yep.
And posting.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right. Any
Can
other
you
questions?
direct message from here?
Can I direct message from here? No. You mean like, so start a new direct message outbound? No.
No. Like, hey, I don't want to respond publicly to this person. I am going to, DM them in their whatever, in their Instagram.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
But what you can do is invoke a chat, right?
Sure.
So. Right. Any other questions?
Do you know if that's something they're looking to do, DMing?
I don't know. The reason I'm not sure the answer to that, the reason I asked is actually for the second part of it, right? Because you see all the time, somebody complains about American Airlines on X, and they say, hey, sorry to hear about your experience.
Right.
Please DM me your reservation number so I can help further.
Yes.
Right. So in that instance, that's fine. That response of please DM me would be able to be accomplished through the tool that we're looking at here. But then actually they would have to go into and then say the customer DMs back, okay, my record locator is 12345. The customer would have to go into their X or their Instagram or whatever to see that direct message and then have that messaging going back and forth, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And by the way, as you could tell, because they're all exactly the same, those are automated messages, right? Which you can do, right? You can automate messages using the bot functionality in this, right?
Yep.
So if there's certain campaigns or certain workspaces that mandate are going to be handled live by real people, but then other parts of it you want automated, you can create the bot to do those, and that's why they're always look exactly the same. That's like a pre-canned message that anytime it returns an unhappy face, a negative sentiment, I'm going to reply with that same message. That's what they're doing.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry you had this experience. We're here to help you.
Exactly.
Please email details of this to, gripes@abc.com, and one of our agents will be happy to assist you.
Yes.
Yeah. Which usually, Tim, I mean, now that I think about it, you're not going to play out a long customer support solution in this thing, right? We're going to want to get it into a normal channel.
Right. And that's
so the automated response is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really was the gist of my question right now. If you get to, you don't want personal information, especially, going across this type of public forum. And really the question was, hey, once you get this to a DM or something else, are you able to control that through this application? And the answer is no, and that's fine. That's really what I was trying to get at. Is it all contained in one, or do you have to then go to the application?
No, all contained in one.
Well, no, wait a minute. That's not what I heard, right? All contained in one means that if I need to take a message, if Tim's working and he's talking to Derek and he says, hey, let's take this
yes. The one-to-one, yes. No, that's not. You'd have to go into
that's not contained. Okay, fine. Yep. I get it.